In this video, we're going to be giving an update on our camper electronic system, what we've done to it, why it took so long, and where it's at currently. It's not 100% just yet. However, just wanted to give you guys an update so that way you can see where we're at, because it's been a while. So let's take a look. For those who are new here, let's give a quick update on my rig. So this is an 07 Toyota Tundra with the 5.7 liter V8 engine. Front end looks different and it looks more modern because of the headlights and the bumper and the grille. So in my opinion, it doesn't look as old and I really like it. But this is also going to get some new headlights pretty soon as well. So keep an eye on that because it's going to be very cool. It's going to make the truck look even better than it does now. So RW wheels, 34-inch Toyo tires, Morimoto lighting pretty much everywhere, RCI rock sliders, and then of course the Tune outdoor camper. This is kind of where we're going to be talking about mostly. So let's get these doors popped open and show you guys what it looks like in here. So that light has fallen and I apologize about that. I didn't even know. So I used some pretty cheap double-sided tape to mount this guy, so I really need to be using some VHB. So we're going to get that mounted right back up here where it belongs on the door, so that way when the door is open we shine outside, and then when the doors are closed it shines inside. But on this side, passenger side, it doesn't really matter too much because we have all of our camping stuff and electrical stuff right here. So this panel here that you see fits perfectly in the Tune outdoor camper. This is the M1, so it has this flare on the side of it. So most campers will end right about here and go straight up. However, Tune has extended the living space inside by giving this bump out right here. And we utilize that bump out by creating a panel to create the space. So in here, you don't really lose any interior space, as you can see here. So right where your bed is and where the factory rail is, which is what this is mounted on, it goes straight up, and this isn't the final. So there's a little bit of things that we need to tweak on here. And of course, this is just raw aluminum. So in the future, once this is done, it's going to be powder coated black, but not the point here. What we're looking at today is actually this setup right here. So this is the RedArc QuickFit75. I've made a video about it in the past, so if you guys are interested in looking at that, go take a look at it. But we have everything wired up that we can wire up currently. So this is the TVMS Rogue. This is where everything gets controlled and all the inputs are put into. There's two of them stacked on top of each other, so there's a total of 20 inputs we can put on here. This whole tray right here, this black tray that everything is sitting on, is actually all you get from RedArc. So it comes pre-assembled on this metal tray that you'll put into your system here. This guy right here, this is the Manager Alpha. So this right here, Manager Alpha 75, this is going to take in all your power inputs. So for example, power from the front engine, alternator and battery, and feed it to this guy, and then this guy will charge your house battery, which I have a Dakota Lithium 320 amp hour battery, so it should be plenty enough for me and my family of 4. So that guy right there also will take solar from the top of the camper, goes into here, and then charges your battery as well. Also, it will also take your NOCO charger here, so you can plug this into your house or at a camp. It'll come right in here, and then it goes into this guy and charges the house battery as well. So 3 ways to charge your house battery. That way you can keep it topped off pretty much all the time. However, I found that the alternator charging from the vehicle to my house battery is plenty enough to really keep this thing alive. But it is nice to have kind of a backup plan, like solar. Solar is great. If you have full sun, I have 530 watts of solar on the top of this camper, so plenty of solar in my opinion to charge the 320 amp hour battery if the day is super sunny, clear skies. So that's what that does. And then we got just some bus bars and random stuff over here that makes everything work, but I'm missing a cover for this, so there'll be a cover on that right there. But what I really want to show you is this guy right here. So let's take a look at the RedArc RedVision. So this right here is kind of the hub of everything. So currently I don't have it mounted, obviously. This is gonna get mounted on the new panel of this design I'm gonna have here. It's gonna be towards the back of the vehicle, so that way I can stand by the tailgate and the rear bumper and just control everything from there. And then when I don't have access to this easily, I can control everything from my phone as well. So let me show you this first. So this is kind of the screen here. My battery's at 100%. It's full. My starting battery has 12.7 volts. And then you can cycle through here and then you can click. So let's see, I want to see history of my charged, the state of charge. So you can see there, you can go back. This is my solar. So during the time I was parked inside, it doesn't have obviously as much voltage. You get a little tiny bit, but not very much. And then you can see a lot of different things. So this is starting battery, and then has other pages as well. You can go through a lot of this stuff here. So this is a nice and easy way to kind of quickly see everything. I'm also going to be installing a water sensor in my 19-gallon water tank that's in this vehicle as well, so I can see how much water I have inside that tank. So that's this. So let's show you the app now. All right, so let's take a look at the mobile app. So this is the home screen. So once you open this up, this is what you'll see. RedArc actually has two different versions of applications. One is to configure everything. The second one is the user interface. So this is the user interface. I wish it was just one app and you can just configure everything in one app and then use it as well, but they have two separate ones. However, usually the installer, if it's not yourself, will use the configure app. But probably a good idea to get familiarized with the configure app as well, so you can change things as needed, so that way you don't always have to go back to the installer. So right on top here, we have the battery life, the power draw right there, the battery status, there's the voltage, the degrees of the batteries as well, what degrees or what temperature it's at. And then this is your solar down here. So currently we got 0 watts in because we're inside. So this middle button right here next to home is going to be all your controls. So here you can obviously change these for your needs. So what I have is the water pump. I can flip the water pump on and off. And I'm not sure if you were able to hear that, but it kicked on real quick. I have my rear lights, which is camping lights, and I'm gonna set that so I can actually dim it. And then over here, I have passenger light as well, some more camping lights. So I have my passenger and driver's side independently, so that way I can flip them on separately and I don't have to flip them all at the same time. More for power consumption, just reducing it as much as possible. So the sides are separate and the rear are separate, and it's nice I can turn them down so that way it's not so blinding, because they are the Morimoto pods and they're not just rock lights, so they're super bright. And then down here I got my fridge. So my fridge right there, I can flip it on and off, but I'm probably going to lock that so that way it stays on all the time. That way it's just constantly on. I can just keep drinks or frozen things in there all the time, since it is a dual zone. So right here, I have my two door lights. That one is currently locked because on the actual lights themselves, I can go in and click the button to turn them on and off or change the colors. So it's kind of a good reason or a good opportunity to just keep that locked, or you can turn them on and off if you like without actually locking. So if you're at camp and you just want to flip off all the lights from your phone, you can do that without having to walk all the way to your truck. And then I have the max air fan right there, and then my Truma heater is down here, so I can just keep those on or off or whatever, and then just adjust the settings on or in the vehicle as well. And then of course I can turn everything off with the toggle right up there as well. And then over here we have the stats, so you can see your state of charge and your solar power input. Like I mentioned, I was parked inside down here, so there was not getting any input. And then at maximum I was getting 222 watt hours at 10 a.m. Today. So that's kind of my peak right there. And then as the day changes or whatever, that's going to change as well with that. And then you got your battery configuration and other stuff here on the side as well. So very cool, interface that RedArc has come with. And I like that the actual RedVision, the physical one on the vehicle, is all buttons. It's nice to have touchscreen on certain things, but however, I think it is really nice to just have physical buttons on other things. Now that we have talked about all the electrical systems on the RedArc, let's show you kind of my setup here. So in here is a slide made by Colorado Camping Solutions, local company to Colorado. So if you're in Colorado and you want something similar to this, or if you want fully custom, they do all that stuff. This is a hex pattern on here, which I really like, and it's pretty durable. I kind of beat it up on the side a little bit, but it's doing really well. So let's pull this out. So this right here is my ICECO APL35. Plenty big for myself and my family of 4 in here. Fridge is always on. Freezer is always on as well. Currently, I don't have anything in there just because we just finished wiring this up. However, I am going to be just leaving drinks in here. So wherever I am, whether that be around the city or at camp, I'm always gonna have drinks in here. And then of course, the frozen side, I like to keep meats or ice cream for my kiddos. But this is wired constantly, and it is on a track, so that way when I slide it in and out, the wires don't actually get pinched. So let's take a look at that. So for the slide, there's a little lever down here. This yellow lever will unlock it from the slide, and it will allow me to pull it all the way out. And then over here, this tiny little guy right here, which you can barely see, is where the wire will come out. So it's plugged into the fridge. There's a little hole over here on the inside, which you can't see, where the wire runs all the way across. And then this track right here, this black track, fits right in between this crevice right here. And then when you slide this, it kind of rolls into itself and prevents it from getting snagged and then potentially ripping the power cable, and then of course ruining your meals or anything you put into the fridge. And by the way, this was all done from my buddy Marcus, who owns Marshall Automotive here in Colorado as well. So if you want some stuff done similar to this and done cleanly, be sure to hit him up. He's gonna have a full kit for the RedArc system. Every wire, every cable is gonna be connected with a terminal or anything necessary to make it fully plug and play for your truck. So if you want something like that where you don't have to think about it, because it might seem easy, however, measuring everything, making sure the right gauge for everything, and nothing is going to catch fire, obviously is important. So Marcus has done a great job at documenting all the wiring and everything he has for this and making a kit for this. So pretty soon you'll be able to buy it with the QuickFit75 and make sure it works for your system and properly working, so that way nothing burns down. But let's talk about this right here. So previously, if you see my other videos, there was a door on this as well where it had the hex pattern that covered up all of this. However, we're kind of in the middle of something to make this water system work. So right down here, you'll see a little quick connect. And what this is going to allow us to do is to put in a quick connect that will allow us to run pressurized water on the fly. So we'll have a coiled up hose essentially with the quick connect that we just snap into that. And then this little button right here will allow us to disconnect it. So as soon as we connect it, the water pump will kick on, or that's if we set the water pump to stay on constantly. But currently we just have it on so that way when we need the water pump, we'll turn it on. What's nice is that the SeaFlow water pump plus the SeaFlow accumulator will automatically turn off once it reaches the pressure, which is, I forget what pressure is that, but it pumps out 3 gallons per minute, which is very similar to what we have at our houses. So when you're taking a shower, it's gonna feel like you're at home taking a shower, pumping 3 gallons per minute. So that's gonna allow us to take a shower. Our shower awning is right here, so the perfect side for our use. So this is temporary. We're gonna have a little niche right in here that will basically make it look like a finished product. And then we'll maybe be able to put a door onto this where this material would just look seamless all the way across and you really won't be able to see it. This right here is my little table. It folds 4 ways, so it's a 4-way folding table, which gets nice and compact here, but folds out to be a medium-sized table, which I really like because it's super compact. So it lives right here, and then the door covers it up, and it's a really good product. This is made by a company called Camp King, and this is where I got it from. You can get it on Amazon as well, so I'll put a link to this table. But that table is nice. I have 2 of them. This is the medium size. I have a small one up here on the panel up here, so that way I can have 2 tables, because you can never have enough service to put your camping gear on when you're at camp. So a table is something very nice, and I like to use the tailgate. However, the tailgate sometimes gets in the way when you have stuff on there. So for example, I can't really put anything here because I always need to slide the fridge out and in. Behind the fridge I have storage as well, so like all of my storage back there I need access to. And then if I want to go on the other side to hop in out of the vehicle, I don't want things on the tailgate either, because then it's in the way of me hopping in and out of the vehicle. So having tables is very necessary. But once I have finished this area here, I'll do another video to kind of show a final 100% complete camp build out, or camper build out, I should say, of everything here. So you can see I have some wiring dangling down, so I need to pick up some wire hider and stuff from Tune Outdoor. And there's just a lot that I still need to be done, even though this is kind of 95% of the way done, because it took a long time to get to where we are at currently. There's a lot that goes into planning all of this. So Colorado Camping Solutions and Marcus from Marshall Automotive did an amazing job with kind of how quickly they were able to get things done, and done cleanly and professionally. The one thing I didn't want to do, which is why I didn't want to do it myself, is just do a half-ass job where everything works, however it doesn't look good, or the gauge isn't gauged properly and something might overheat and the wires melt. Stuff like that I don't want to happen, so which is why I didn't do it myself. So that's gonna be it for this video. I will have another video with a full 100% completed product. If you want to see that and are interested in something like this, feel free to hit up Colorado Camping Solutions or Marcus at Marshall Automotive. I'll put their contact info and address and everything down in the description of this video. But if you are new here and are not subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see, and we'll try to make those videos. But that's going to be it. We'll see you guys in another video.